Now I'm like. Why? No, you know, I'm a child. Yes, yes, for sure. And it wasn't like shh. Just that's all nice. Or we focus. Hi Ed, how are ya? Because they said, hey, you don't know, he was trying to do so. Yeah, yours doesn't. No, thank you. Thank you. What is she? Last month's report. I got. Well, for Christianity, everybody tried to fire and it's all. So how bad. August 18th, to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Carter's. Here. Here. Olson. Present. Smelser Pritchard. Here. And Mr. Penfield was excused. Approval of the agenda, as you can see, we have two additions that is being added to E.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. E to new business. A second.
Roll call. Charters.
Yes.
Florida. Yes. Olson. Smelser Pritchard. Yes.
Requesting for council, we have none. Public input. Cool. Everybody must be okay. Correspondence. Should we read that whole thing for the first one?
If you like.
I just think
The
that
first and the last were both pretty awesome.
yes, I think we should prove that. Chris is gonna read A and D of our correspondence, and then she can brief us on the other two.
So A was from the Frost family, and it says, to whom it may concern. We have a cottage in Beulah on Crystal Avenue and usually watch the fireworks from our lakeside yard. When the fireworks were canceled in Beulah, we decided to go to Frankfurt. We have a daughter-in-law in a wheelchair. We have no disability placard to show and use. We fly from California. So we were unloading and reassembling a wheelchair at the blockade on Main Street. Your police officer, Suzanne Ball, observed us struggling as we put the wheelchair back into the rental car that it's barely fitting. She gave us her business card to use as a placard called ahead and directed us towards the disabled parking right next to the beach. Our daughter-in-law is young and paralyzed from the breast up. The kindness and concern and competence of the police officer, Suzanne Mull, will always be remembered. I'm getting emotional. And appreciated, but more so her assessing the problem we were having and helping us to a safer place is commendable. Please give her the credit and recognition she deserves, representing your police department and to the city of Frankfort. Thank you with gratitude, Francis and Nicholas Frost. Great, awesome. We had Flo, and I apologize if Filipina. She's a former resident in the city, and she thanks the city hall staff for their kindness and professionalism. The Frankfort Alberta Chamber of Commerce, Brenda Nugent, thank the city of Frankfort for their support for the fireworks. And the last one came from a gentleman by the name, well, it's Linda Paul and Amanda Johnson. They're from Midland. And it says, I'm writing to thank you and kudos regarding your updated ADA accessible beach area in the Frankfort Beach. We recently had the pleasure of visiting Frankfort and were pleasantly surprised by all the updates and improvements to the beach. Our adult daughter has cerebral palsy and uses a wheelchair. We have always enjoyed going to the beach and family, but our daughter is now older and heavier, so it is very difficult to maneuver her wheelchair at the beach. Using the bathroom in the public area is also an issue, as it takes both me and my sister in the bathroom. We were so pleased and happy to discover both your wide, well-paved sidewalks taking us right down to the water and fully ADA compliant bathrooms at the Frankfort Beach. Also the handicap spots down by the bathroom area were an added bonus. Your updates are a game changer for our family, and we appreciate the time, effort, and money that went into the well thought out renovation. Thank you for making Frankfort Beach a welcome and accommodating destination to all individuals. We will definitely be back. Then they sent a picture of family on. Right,
Yeah,
so
we did something right.
very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Have heard nothing but positive. Say. Okay, moving on to approval of minutes. There was just one typo I found in regular minutes, and Chris, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention it to you, but it is under Commissioner's report. You got one too many zeros. Yeah. So it's just okay.
And then if it wants to do that,
Yeah, what?
we just have T and Richard.
Okay.
See now, I breathe yes under some. Thank you. Yes, we definitely need to fix that.
Okay. So. With that, I'll make a motion to approve the regular and special council meeting. The regular meeting of 7/21 and the special council meeting of 8/4. With amendments to the regular council meeting.
Second.
Okay. Any questions? Roll call.
Howard,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Smelter Pritchard. Yes. Charters.
Yes.
Okay. Approval of bills. I'll separately. Andy.
Just started again.
Brady.
I'll make a motion to approve prepaid vouchers 61088 through 661123 HRA 9419 through 9445. $977,702.94, which $702,719.59 for taxes. Payroll voucher 44311 through 4445. EFT 1008 through 1019 in the amount of 169,381.57, of which 135,237.73 for wages, 5,726.40 for employee deductions, and 28,417.44 for federal tax deposits.
I'll second.
Any discussions or questions? Roll call.
Olson.
Yep.
Smelter Richard.
Yes.
Charters.
Yes.
Florida.
Yes. Regular bills, I'll make a motion to approve vouchers 61124 through 61169 in the amount of $255,428.66 as presented. Any questions? Roll call.
So excuse me, Smelter Richard.
Yes.
Charters.
Yes.
Florida.
Yes. Yes. And. Gotta go with ways. Your assistance. Okay, going on, the council members' reports, charters.
Yeah, hang on just one second. So the personnel committee did not meet, finance committee did meet with the chairman of that. Joanne addressed that. Fire advisory committee did not meet. However, we are meeting next Thursday, the 27th. So next month there'll be a report on that. LOA is continuing to operate and fine tuned some of the optimize some of the construction and the throughput on the process. The contract is about 98.5% complete. They're still finishing up some punch list items and addressing a few open items with the UV system, but everything is being treated and it's compliant. And we worked through a lot of resolutions on some of the equipment. We still have under control, but nothing that I don't turn concerned about getting right. So we continue to be under budget there, and so all is good. So that concludes my.
Okay. We did meet in finance and it was pretty much. Sorry. Very tight, very tight budget for, so I'm looking forward to get the audit report, which they will be coming the end of September, am I correct? All of the adjustments I think have been done.
So
Pretty
far,
much so far.
there was a few invoices that Amy has done, and Mark and I are working with Motorola.
Okay. Oh, that's right, because you wanted that bill combined, that's correct. And we're doing okay for now, we had to transfer. Quite a bit of money, $50,000 from prior year cash, make sure we had a possible cash bill. So, anyway, we're still gonna be okay. Bottom line. Right?
Bad,
Huh?
bad.
Oh, yes, you did.
We do have receivables that are being booked,
Yeah.
but the problem with cash, the reason why that transfer had to be made. Was due to the timing of the grant reimbursement for Lake Michigan Beach.
Right.
So in that time, we received $101, but it was $101,000. It was after June 30th, so that's why we had to do it the way we did it.
Right.
So
Yeah. That's for. DDA did meet, we had to meet down at the library because it was election day. When we met, we barely had a quorum. The lady from the US Small Business Administration was to be there. This is maybe we can keep getting pop-ups here. To do a presentation for those that might have had flooding or any of that. She was unable to to make it. Again, pretty much the same kind of conversation about the corridor improvement, from Josh. It's pretty much the same every month, and it's his understanding that there is a Crystal Lake family that has expressed interest in helping fund a pavilion and restroom improvements at Mineral Springs Park, so we're waiting for further updates on that. The concept includes refrigeration beneath the pavilion, slab to support an ice rink during the shoulder seasons, and the proposal was in the early stages and was consistent with the goals being considered in the recreation plan update. Again, Brenna is just doing a superb job. Sidewalk sale was very busy. And they had many activities. The Dancing Frenzy is coming up. Ironman will be here for the 20th of September. Fall Festival and Report City Run. So a lot happening there. Again, the DDA boundary extension was discussed. I reported that basically the consensus are that we feel they need to have a plan of we go ahead and extend the boundaries at this time, that they need to give us a strategic plan of how they would spend that money. So, you know, if they're gonna get 500,000, I think council needs to know what their plan would be, so that's what I reported. And then we're still looking into, there was a request to have a ADA ramp in front of the 500 Main Street condos, and in which would entail taking up part of the sidewalk. We decided that that was, or we were going to recommend to them that they need to do that on maybe in the back or some place like that. So, and then there was Ironman discussion, which we had been contacted through TC Tourism, that Ironman has expressed an interest in having a 3-year contract with them. And the consensus was that if we went ahead, we would ask for a bucket of money to go to a project, a city project, and I suggested like 25 to 30,000 to go toward a license, so on and so forth. That remains to be seen, because other entities have to say yea or nay, and they want Ironman to be there. So that was pretty much it, and I did fill in for the Housing Commission. Of course, Steve Drew is now the chair of that, and Jay reported. Well, we did have a conversation with John Simpson, and he is going to go ahead. The board decided that that was a good thing for him to take the lead on the housing project at the school. John, he would take the lead and work with the staff there, and that, of course, our commission will still be part of that. And Jay reported he's no longer on the housing commission, and his last day on the housing is the housing, is that what they call it now, or the housing? Not from here. Each is no longer Frankfurt Housing, that's, but anyway, for the land trust, housing land trust. He reported that they acquired property. They signed on Friday for that Tuesday meeting. And it's that property that was right behind A&W. Used to be the Harding property. And they were able to purchase that, and so potentially they could put up to 8 houses on there, but right now they're getting all of the data and information together for that. So that's, I think, the end, grant, no more grants for now. State review, got to go.
Oh, let's see, rec board. That first Monday of August 3rd. We did have a couple of guests, and Tracy from the Benzie Wellness Aquatic Center, and Tom Mauer from the CSA out here. They were here to discuss the possibility of restoring a lifeguard to our Frankfurt Beach. It's actually a survey of 97 Frankfurt Middle School students. By self-reporting, 61% either could not swim or could not swim more than 10 yards. So more than half of almost 100 children cannot swim, or can, but can't swim more than 10 yards. So maybe a lifeguard at the beach is something we should entertain in the future. So let's see what else I talked about. The lighthouse, phase 1 of the work is done as of about a week and a half ago. They finally left town. I've actually been out there. I did my last part of electrical last Friday up there. Everything looks great, all new glass all the way around. The paint looks amazing on the railing and around it, and they did do a pretty good job of some of the structural work, but there's a lot more that needs to happen. But they did a lot of just sealing of holes to prepare for phase 2. So I do think that somebody needs to take about Windex and some rags and clean up the Fresnel lines really well.
Oh,
Very dirty. If I had more time, I would have done this. But Lighthouse looks great so far for phase 1. Lake Michigan beach restroom, nothing but good comments on that. There's still a few small items, protruding exterior spigot handle and a soap dispenser issue that are on the contractor's punch list that probably been fixed since this meeting. Also the water bottle fill station on the outside is not working. But I think that is in the process of getting fixed as well. Bellows Park and restroom, that's slated to be put up for bids within a couple weeks, probably when Josh gets back from vacation. The well and septic are gonna be a little bit complicated because they're the spring and we can't have the well and septic. Once they have to be modified to be part. So the drain field for that bathroom is gonna be to the south, which is kind of in this over the creek and off the hill a little bit. So that will be one complication of that. But we're looking to really kind of get going on that project as well. And that bathroom is going to be pretty much identical to what we just put in on here in my. So we already kind of know what we're working with. We kind of hope that Contractors Construction wants to bid this one as well, so they did such a great job on the last one. And hopefully it's dog park. They're still shopping around for benches. The shop class, now that the school is about to be back in session, has expressed interest in building us benches and providing material. One of our other members has also found a variety of kind of low cost interim benches that we're gonna probably purchase a few. As well as dog park. The Animal Welfare League would like to come back to our dog park and build us a rather small pavilion. Just so people can maybe be out of the sun or out of the elements. We're not sure yet what that looks like, but we're kind of in the discussion phases of that. And then, rec board's also working on our master plan update for all of our leaf parks. That's about it for rec board. Airport, I was unable to attend last month's meeting. But I will be at next month's meeting, and I do know that there is maybe, I don't wanna say drama, but things might be heating up out at the airport.
We said about the airport overlay.
Yes, somebody overlaid, and then another landowner near. Getting ideas,
Okay,
so I'll give you those stuff.
yeah, okay,
Right now it's kind of just and talk. And so that is all I got.
Jenna,
Planning commission did meet, remembering the warehousing commission thing. Public safety, we didn't meet, but did you guys end up doing that field trip? No.
We're actually just trying to coordinate,
Okay,
wasn't working.
wasn't working, okay.
I think when he gets back, I mean, that's somewhere we may reapproach or we may just take a different angle.
Okay.
There's, what I'm referring to is there's still concerns, from. Residents on Michigan Avenue of the speed going down and up Heatherville. So we were discussing doing a field trip with a. A test run, if you will, of Josh driving the car at. The actual speed limit of 25. And then Chief heads there with. Radar. To show that, it does probably seem like individuals are going faster than they really are,
then the speed limit.
but they're probably going faster.
Yeah.
Just because it is, but anyways, that's what we're trying to figure out. Plan something like that to see if that is an issue, and then if it is an issue, how we can go forward and resolve it.
I did forget tree board, which we have a meeting tomorrow. Tomorrow, Tuesday, yes. Tomorrow, but the other thing that I could report is we did sell posters at the art fair, and we got over $600 in selling posters to go toward more trees. So didn't want to forget that. Okay, commissioners report. Thank you, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So we have had a little churn over at the county. First thing is our administrator put in her notice. So Katie's last day, I think, is next week. She is headed off to Fremont, which is home for her. And yes, all of the things for her have just fallen into place. She loves it here. It was a very hard decision for her. It's home, so that's where she's going. In the interim, Leslie Bilby, who is our deputy administrator, will be filling in. And so she will be our interim administrator in the meantime. She is she's doing a great job. The county is going to put out an RFP for a body to or a firm to help us find another administrator to fill that position. And of course, we are encouraging Leslie to be a part of that as well. We also had Tammy Bowers let us know that she will be retiring next year.
Oh dear.
Yes.
I did not hear that.
And so people have asked me, oh, well, what does that mean? Well, her term is not completed, so that means that the judge will appoint her replacement.
Okay.
We are still embroiled in our budgeting process at the county. At our last August 25th meeting, we had our public comment on our draft budget, and we will likely adopt that next month.
For October 1, correct?
Yes. Yeah, so this is the 26-27 budget year, and this is not affected by the proposal that was on the millage in August. We have one more year, so the 27-28, 28-29 is affected by the operating millage that was on the ballot in August and failed. Speaking of that, it failed, our operating millage. So the tax advisory committee did convene the day after, and they put together a proposal. So it will go back on the ballot in November, and they are looking to reduce both the township by 0.2 and the township asked by 0.2 and the county by 0.2. Also, we will not be rolling in the animal control and drug enforcement because those expire in this year. So we need to get that on the ballot in November. And so our animal control millage is going to be up for renewal. And so is our drug enforcement on the November ballot because it expires this year, both of those. The other one, is it the TNT officer? Yes, that one doesn't expire till next year, so that one isn't going on the November ballot. I'm sorry?
Drug enforcement's different. TNT.
That's the same thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was our truancy officer. I thought that was
SRO maybe you're talking about?
maybe yes. Yeah, maybe yes. Yes, sorry.
Resource.
Yeah, so be the resource officer.
So the SRO is going to be renewed.
So I know the drug enforcement is going to be renewed. This year, drug enforcement and animal control are going to be on the ballot.
Okay. And then SRO is
Yes,
next year.
yeah, so again, yes. Because it sounds like what we've been hearing in feedback is that people don't want those rolled into the operating millage. So the tax advisory is listening.
Individual villages, individual.
But you said that the county was going to be reducing by
Reducing the act by
0.2,
0.2.
but if you're taking those out,
So yeah, it's not a.
and what will this generate in dollars? Have they told you that?
I don't have that dollar amount.
Okay.
This is,
Okay. All right, we'll look into it.
yes, and so, yes, they will have, the calculator is likely updated already at the Benzie County website. So people can then do that tally there. Yeah, those are big things. We are still looking for a recycling site for Benzonia. So as you know, the Benzonia Township site has been removed and we still do not have another site identified. The Materials Management Planning Committee, that's the Tri-County Committee, speaking of recycling, has approved their draft plan. And so next things will be public commenting. Board has asked so legally really they only need to do a public comment in one county, but the board is asking that we do it in each county so that it's more accessible for people to comment. So we have that. And then the board has also asked that there be a plan as to who's doing roles and responsibilities for phase 2, which should be again going in, after public comment and getting it out to the local units of government. Working on that, and then. Yes, so something else that I've kind of reported on in the past is, we kind of talked about, that Keystone area in Traverse City. And how they're looking to do composting there. Well, DPW had an opportunity to apply for a grant. And we used some MMP money to do a feasibility study so that we can see something larger that can happen in that area. And so, yes, we'll be applying for a grant to look at something at that Keystone that will be bigger and that can accommodate more from the other counties. We talked about how they weren't able to accept a lot of composted or material that could be composted, food scraps. So now it looks like they are looking to expand on that, and so we might have something available to us. So, but it's a it's a slow, small process, but it's an incremental step. And that's what's going on. Any questions for me?
No,
Okay, so
thank you.
very good. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the department reports,
I've had lots of information in there, just highlighting things that were going on, thank yous. Do you want to point out again, Officer Mall, thank her for getting an NSF check. That gentleman was unresponsive to me, and it was $1,500 for at the marina for fuel. His comment to me was, well, I knew there wasn't money in it, but when I got home back to, I hoped you wouldn't cash by the time I got back to Chicago. Which is not able. So anyway, he was unreceptive to my first call, so Officer wants to get over and she ran with it and she got we're made whole. Otherwise, there's a lot of early voting statistics. It's all online for anyone to view. We'll know we have some vacancies. We have a housing commission. There's 2 there, local compensation commission for the 1-year term. And then pending for zoning board of appeals, there seems to be 1 individual that is up in the air whether he's going to come back or not. So we're waiting until Josh gets back to talk to him. In the future, if Trevor's appointed, we'd only have 1 opening then, but it depends on that. But we do have openings if anyone's interested in it, is posted. I believe Shannon was posting that out on the web too.
Okay.
But all the statistics of everyone's looking for how the city
did
did.
go online.
Yup, and just as a side note, we had 46% turnout compared to the last primary, which was 41.
Good.
So it was an increase.
Does anybody have any questions for Chris?
Yeah, I do. So, and again, I know that you're just following the, the rules and that, but I did find, so my question lies, so we had 49 voters that voted early, well, of course, 9 days. And so I guess, there's a cost associated with that, with all the election workers and so on and so forth. And again, I know you're following the mandates from the state. So, I mean, I get that. But in some way or fashion, some of this data fed back to the states. They understand that. I have no idea what that cost was for those election workers. Do you have a rough sense?
I'm just working on it now, but I can tell you there was a supervisor. There was a mandated supervisor who cannot be any of the thing there. There has to be a chair and then at least 2 representatives from each party. So there are to be 4 people here at all times.
Yeah, so 4 times, 9 times, around 10 hours.
Never stay. Good news is I did hear scuttlebutt on the House side. They're looking at making a change. Early voting is not going to go away because it's embedded in their state constitution.
I get that.
However, they are looking to either put, and again, this is all up, it could change at any time, either put sort of a cap somewhere for your population, which would be great, because we only have 1,117 voters.
Okay.
If we have a cap as far as how many voters, would it only be 2 days? Would it be 1 day? Would it be 5 days? We don't know. Or would it be capped? I mean, that's the only true way to do it, but they're looking at different ways because they're all of a sudden saying, this is really not cost effective. All of a sudden, there's a surprise and it's. They say if your we have it now, if your population is under 500, you don't have to do this. So places in the UP, that's population, but if they actually went by registered voters. Maybe a game changer. So,
Okay, because it's coming out of their pocket, that's all got their attention,
yes,
so they have to reimburse us,
they're reimbursing $15 for every hour worked.
yeah,
So, I mean, you know, that. Like I said, it's like 320, 330 hours at $10, $15 an hour.
They get paid $17 an hour and the chairs get $18.
And I guess, I don't know, coming, yeah, like, for those 49 votes, it's a big cost to the city for $4,000.
And then we get reimbursed like $2,800 for
It's
wages.
treated from an economic standpoint, so I'm glad that this information is going back to the state. This is. It's not a cost effective.
And several of the election individuals said, well, if you, I said, I'm already Googling and saying this is ridiculous. And many people have jumped on board and said, yeah, I'll go with you. Chris works in our elections and she volunteered her time and she totally saw the same thing. You know, there's just, it doesn't. It's not cost effective
No,
at all.
no, not at all.
Considering absentee ballots, the amount of absentee ballots were 315, which were about 30 more than we had last year.
I mean, it was 2 days that we just had 2 people all day.
Yeah.
2 days that we had 3 people. Yeah, like 5, I mean, it's just,
And on the day that we had 2 people, it's because the gentleman that was working called his wife and came in and they voted. So, seriously.
one of those voters, those 49 voters was me.
And then the day that we had 3, it's actually all 3 election workers.
So, yeah, it's a lot of that, states. It's just.
ridiculous. Like I said,
Thank
it's getting there, trackable, so. Any other questions for Chris? Okay, Josh isn't here, so that should cut things out. Please report.
Between July 15th and August 11th, we had 183 law enforcement related calls in the city. That's a bit of a difference. This was a little bit shorter time frame than last report, which was 264 calls. But we have seen a definite decrease in the activity for this time period versus the June through July. We just started to see a drop in business. 42 stops versus I think last report was 60-something, and only 40 tickets written versus I think 58 last time. Actually, I had to come up with a place to order tickets from because we were running out. So,
Yeah, should write the law part, you did that.
that's the most part.
You think in the overall scheme that's starting to help some? Out of submissive, you know?
I don't think there's a network for that. There may be, I think the majority of just say local people don't park poorly, or there is a bit of a network. Because word got back to me that there was one local person that said, well, I can park where I want, nothing's gonna happen anyway. They get tickets and they just, nothing happens. I don't pay it and nothing happens. Well, I started about a month ago, started taking unpaid tickets to district court, which is now sending letters to the people, and the $20 tickets become $65 tickets
Aha,
once the court fees are added, so. And then the majority of them are not. So those that had that frame of mind will probably change. And once they realize you do have to find an actual parking spot to go to Perks, you can't just park wherever you want. So that's a work in progress, but we're actually physically running out of tickets, so I've come up with a a place that would make some more worse.
I got a question about if it's a tick offense. 'Cause I have seen this so many times, people going down the road and change their mind, or they see a parking place on the other side of the road and they turn around right in the middle of the street.
Yeah, so I've tried to find some statute on the books to write for that, even with the WS line. And there's nothing, best I can come up with is. Even the U-turn,
Yeah, in the
So-
middle of the road.
if. The U-turn. In itself is lawful, however, if in making a U-turn. You impede traffic. And so if somebody has to slow down or stop because you're making a U-turn, is therefore an improperty,
That's what I.
and then we can take it for that. But. Yeah, unless we have signage up that says prohibits U-turns,
There used to be signs on Main Street that said no J turns.
when we had the old lamp posts, they were on every single lamp. The ones that had the wires that were draped across Main Street, if you remember, and then we always put Christmas lights on them, which is, but those went away. How many years ago? With the advent of the light.
The one in particular that I saw was a large vehicle, and there was I was one of them, right? That went to do that, he had to back up, you know, there was quite a bit of traffic behind that, well, it was a big vehicle too. So,
Most of the U-turns I see are done. Okay, properly, I suppose. But there are a few that. Impede traffic, they can't quite make it, so they sit there and they do the Austin Powers thing. Back and forth.
yeah,
Uh,
so. Okay, I just wondered if that was typical events.
in a roundabout way, yes.
It is, okay,
Um. Get down to.
when you get new tickets,
It's been another. The business I found that could make them. It's in Ohio. And. The gentleman sent me, we've gotten to the point where he sent me a proof. I have. The guy went on vacation. So I think we're down to. There's one full book of tickets left. And then there's 23. It's an odd number.
get you through the month.
Yeah, we'll probably, we may get through. Not the summer, but maybe through August.
I'm refreshing my memory, but I think the last that was printed was through Bayside.
And,
I think that's what.
and we looked back, it hasn't been for 26 years I've been here. So
None of, I would guess something like that usually has a number, address, or whoever made them. And these have nothing.
Yeah.
So I got them in the internet.
Well, they were the only business in town.
and they don't have a template or anything we checked.
Yeah,
So all they have to do is, maybe they're in the mail, they're gonna send us a bill.
yeah,
And then it's one of those deals where if you buy 200 of them, it's X number of dollars, but if you double it, it's only $100 more.
well, the other ones lasted that long.
So
Okay,
hopefully, it's a good problem to have.
yeah,
And touching on what we were discussing earlier with the speeding concerns on some of our city streets. Speeding isn't a problem that's unique to any one street. I think everyone can agree with that. Probably everybody lives on a street where people speed and where they spend the majority of their time, that's what they problems. Because that's what they see the issue. Growing up on Elm Street, I would have told you it's the worst place for speeders in town. So I did some research into research that's already been done by some colleges that did some studies on cities roughly our same size, small town speeding issues, and they focused on different calming devices, speed traffic calming devices that are used. One of those is archways to delineate between highways and city traffic, where speeds typically slow down. Speed measurement signs that give you the feedback how fast you're going. Speed bumps. Raised crosswalks was another one where the crosswalks were made at a higher elevation than the rest of the roadways. Some of the things they use, I think, are probably in areas that don't get snow,
Yeah,
so they don't have to deal with snow removal. Another one is bump outs, curb and parking bump outs, similar to what we have on Forest Avenue between Winter Light and the AW. So those bump outs, that's a form of traffic calm. It's a pain in the butt for snow plowing, but that's one. But the one that in these studies had the biggest bang for the buck, meaning the highest reduction in miles per hour driven on these streets, and very cost effective, was actually pavement work. So painting on the pavement what the speed limit is. They found that just putting the word slow didn't have as great of effect. It somehow, but not as great of effect as actually having the speed limit printed on the road. It had a better effect than all the other measures that they studied. So I've been talking with Josh and kind of trying to come up with a plan. It's something that would be easy to implement and wouldn't cost a lot. And based on these studies, it's effective. And that can be done anywhere, and in all the streets. Not all of them, but even some larger. I've noticed some of our speed limit signs are quite small, and they can be replaced with larger.
I like the idea on the road
Yeah,
page.
and Michigan Avenue, and in the area of Halvern Hill, we could do the slow coupled with the extra speed limit. But I think through there, it's the fastest car I saw was the Richmond. On a couple times I've sat for any amount of time and watched the traffic there. I went back 10 years and checked for traffic crash history, and I found between 2016 and I think it was 2 weeks ago, I did that. There were 13 incidents in that 10 years span. Only one of them involved two moving vehicles. The rest of them were all FedEx truck backed into our car.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people backing into parked vehicles, either backing out of driveways or just moving around. The only one that was involved two moving vehicles was a vehicle coming down Heffron Hill, and it was on Winnebago. A vehicle that just turned into Winnebago. Vehicle came down and just caught a trailer hitch on the car that had just turned on Winnebago. So we don't have a history of a lot of incidents involving two moving vehicles, like we do at the Blinker, right? Well, a few more there. So I think that's what we're kind of leaning towards, but some of it is just based on perception of speed. And I've read a couple experiments that local law enforcement has worked with public on, and had vehicles travel at a set speed, ask the people, how fast do you think that vehicle is going? And they give their guess, their estimate of the speed, and it's typically higher. Their estimate is higher than what actual speed. So that's kind of what I was looking at doing on Michigan Avenue with whoever would be interested in participating.
And you are part of the safety committee, so
Yeah, we'll circle back to that.
And you will be able to, let those people that keep emailing, know these statistics.
Yes,
Yeah, I think that will be good that it comes from you guys,
absolutely.
yeah,
Okay,
so.
Yeah.
Alrighty, fire chief,
Okay, last month we had 98 calls for service, 32 EMS of that calls were EMS here in the city and 11 fire calls. This year, so far, we've had 50. And in August, it started out in that we had 11 EMS calls, 1 fire call. It was mentioned earlier, we have a fire advisory committee meeting coming up on Thursday, the 27th. That was also mentioned at the LAPC, our committee meeting. So they're aware of that as well. Could be having a this coming Friday at Acre Place 1 to 3. We're going to be doing an educational experience for children on why not, how not pull the alarm unless it's an absolute emergency. Treasury Department has issued a grant that was in the packet, $50,000 per municipality. I know that I want to get into a discussion on that, but I think the biggest thing I'd like to ask the council is to approve for us to apply for that. It's
now which
money,
one?
it's the $50,000 per municipality. Chris and I have been talking about that.
That's on the agenda, am I correct? Okay,
Okay, so
I'll address that then.
training, if you haven't realized that the house across the street from the hospital, the old EMS got the windows knocked out of it, the daycare's got the windows knocked out, it's completely abated of any asbestos. I've been invited to basically tear it apart, grab training, what I wanna do, so Tuesday the 25th and Saturday the 30th, we'll be over there, with other departments that been invited as well to do that. And I just completed, fire inspection for the first responder, got a state certification out of that, and, Sean had. One of the things that we learned about that, was the compliance engine, and you got that in your packet as well. Which is, the compliance engine through Pricer. What Pricer basically does not cost the city or the fire department a dime. They tack on $27 for Summit will tack on $27. And for example, restaurants are supposed to have their ANSI systems checked twice a year and documented. I have no proof of that. Pricer will get that. When they show up, when they do all their extinguishers, they will make sure that they're up to date and that their ANSI systems have been completely tested. And it doesn't cost, if you send the information and they send me notes, they're not. And I have form letters that I could send it and say, you missed your date, it needs to be done. Part of the things, my homework assignments for this fire inspection class was to go around to different places and do inspections. And one of the things that came up, kind of alarming topic, was how many fire extinguishers up and down Main Street have not been checked in a long time. So that needs to be updated, including the Garden Theater, which was over a year ago. It's the last time they were tagged, so.
And they get a lot of people in there.
Yeah, see those things that need to be, and Pricer will start sending out letters. They use, like I said, to the companies that they, like Summit, do Summit. Works in conjunction with us, we'll send them the information, we take $7 on the bill for to cover that. Stuff, so it doesn't cost the city anything. We don't have to hire an inspector. Other than that, anybody have any questions? No, thank you.
Moving on to new business, zoning board of appeals, Mr. Magnati. Could come tonight, so you're tabling that to go on next month's meeting. And. We do, okay, we need a motion in a second.
Make a motion to table it till next month's meeting.
Roll call,
Charters,
Yes,
Alberta,
yes,
Wilson.
Yeah.
Smelter Pritchard.
Yeah,
okay, and because of last month's meeting, I. Decided to address that issue. And Chris is gonna check in to see if we need to do a policy.
There's a policy already, just have to amend it.
Amend that policy where I'm going to add to the personnel chair that will be his responsibility to interview any applications, vacancies, reappointments to people that are already on won't be part of that. But and then I'll leave it up to the chair to pick another person to do the interviews on any applications for vacancies.
someone like Brady perhaps.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're gonna check into that, and if we have to amend that policy, we'll bring it forward next month. So that'll take care of it, and the mayor should not be on that committee because the mayor is the one that makes the appointments. And that's how we're going to resolve that issue. Okay, the second one. I believe all of these are reappointments. So therefore, I'm going to make a motion, no second needed, to reappoint Elaine Newbold to a 2-year term set to expire 8/20/2028, and Ed Corella and Dan Barczewski to a 3-year term set to expire 8/20/29 to the Downtown Development Authority.
Alberta,
Yes.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Smelter Pritchard. Yes. Charters.
Yep,
Okay. The second one is to the local compensation commission reappointment. I will make a motion, no second needed, to reappoint Christine Walenta to the local compensation commission for a 2-year term set to expire on 9/5/28. Roll call,
Wilson.
Yep.
Smelter Pritchard. Yes. Charters.
yes,
Alberta.
yes. Okay, now we're moving to the chief's grant request.
Like, let me know when you want to jump around.
I'll jump in.
So the fire equipment was established from PA 22 in 2005. It's for fire equipment, full-time firefighters, including full-time, on-call, and volunteer. And the state did this, was it last year? And it was only 10,000.
yeah, 2023 is last.
23. And so they put it out there, and now they have a new one in 2025, a new act, allowing for $50,000 for each government entity. So,
But there's only 250,000 available.
Is that like,
well,
you get 50,000 or you might get?
we might have to state the pool. So what happens is through Mike's research and talking back and forth with the state, because it's very unclear with the information they give you, and then you go on to Sigma to be able to do it, and it says, just kidding, you have to have this requirement, but it's not in their information that they give you. Happens a lot with the state regards. So for each entity that is a part of the city of Frankfurt, they could apply for 50,000. However, each entity, because we're not an authority, they, as we discussed it earlier with Dale, and he's absolutely correct, they would have to go and, let's take just for sake of conversation, Lake Township would have to go and purchase something between now and 2020 or 2030. But right now you're making an obligation, you're applying for the grant, you're saying I'm gonna budget over for the next, say, 3 years, I'm going to allocate this amount of money. We're gonna make the purchase, whether it's for like packs or turnout gear, they're going to go there, make the purchase. Then they would go get their reimbursement and then they would give it to the city for, as part of the grant. Because we're not an authority, we can't apply for them. They could give letters of support, in the past, we gave letters of support, we could apply for the whole gamut. But now they've changed it, because only authorities have that obligation, because we're the only people that actually employ. So now, with this, there's a lot of gray areas, it's gonna depend on municipality, whether they have the funds to do that, or whether they're willing. As Mike and I discussed, maybe tonight, we just wanna ensure the cities. We did purchase the truck. For the down payment, we cannot purchase, we can't put towards, we had hoped to put anything towards like the debt part of it that we owe. That has been in fact confirmed now that that is not something the state will let us do. However, we did put, was it $75,000
down.
out of our reserves. Just made on October 29th and 25, it is an optional reimbursement. So we can actually apply. We have all the expense, we have invoice, we have the canceled checks, we have everything ready. Upon them saying, yes, you're approved, we can actually send that in and we can actually get that money fairly quickly because we have everything. So as Mike and I discussed, perhaps for that, because we've already met our cap, then we have 50, that would definitely reimburse that portion. We've already made that expenditure. So we talked about a 3-year on the agenda item with here allocating so much money. We've already met our match. We're done. We beating the requirements of the grant. So I guess tonight, as Mike and I discussed earlier, and Mike
Just to apply.
Asking the council support to at least apply for just the city for the 50,000. Because each individual entity would have to do this. And they may not, depending on if it's gonna be fully up to them. Okay, would that make sense? I know it's a lot of information, and I talked fast. But Jerry, you're absolutely correct, what you talked about yesterday, or earlier today. Yes.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the request to support and supply the state of Michigan Fire Equipment. Apply for the state of Michigan Fire Equipment Grant, PA 22 of 2025.
Second.
Are there any questions for either Chris or Mike? Mine as well, you all know.
Okay, we've already had the expense.
Okay, roll call please.
Smelter Pritchard. Yes. Charters.
Yes.
Colberta.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Okay, and the last item is the tree preservation reserve, an expenditure. Or printing. Posters, and so we just need your motions to clean up. To take the money out of reserves. The motion was to start it.
Make a motion to approve transfer tree preservation reserve to cash necessary budget amendments of $86.26. Pay invoice due.
Any questions? Roll call.
Colberta.
Yes.
Olson. Smelter Pritchard. Yeah. Charters.
Yes.
And the reason for that is that any money that comes out of reserve has to be by city council, correct?
Okay, public input, that and so. These such good people. Okay, a motion to adjourn, please.
Make it a motion.
Then the second. Roll call.
Charters.
Yep.
Colberta.
Yes.
Olson.
Yep.
Smelter.
Thank you very much.
What's that? So this was.
Wow, like. Yeah.